Chapter 1, The Successor. In a house in Mustafu, two siblings were in their parents' room, ready to wake 'em up. "Wake up Mom and Dad," shouted the siblings. The two parents immediately shot up, the dad a frail and scrawny man, and the woman an overweight and short woman. The names were Toshinori and Inko Yagi. Little did the two know that they were the number 1 and 6 heroes All Might and Weather Wizard. We're up, said Inko. "We have to see what our quirks are," said Izumi. Time skipped to the doctor's office. Izuku, Izumi, and Inko were sitting in a doctor's office in front of a doctor. "I have good news and bad news. Which one do you want to hear first?" said the doctor. "The bad news is that your son is quirkless," said Izuku. Izuku then dropped his All Might action figure and held a blank face. Izumi and Inko then felt pity for Izuku. "The good news is that Izumi has a stronger weather manipulation than you, as she can create different types of weather, from a small tornado in her hand to a cyclone that can swallow up a city," said the doctor. The mood went up as Inko used a small tornado to fly Izumi around. "I'm gonna be the number 1 hero," said Izumi, as she and Inko left, leaving Izuku there. Time skip 7 hours later. Inko POV. "I'm so embarrassed. I left the doctor's office with Izumi and we drove 3 hours and I didn't even remember that I left him until Toshi asked me where he was. When I drove back and got him, he looked so sad. I just hope he can forgive me." Next day, Izuku and Izumi were at school, as Izuku went to a tree and Izumi went to her friends the Bakugo twins and Todoroki twins. "Hey Izumi, what quirk did you and that useless Deku get?" asked Bakugo. "I got a stronger version of my mom's quirk, but Deku is quirkless," said Izumi. The 5 then laughed, before walking up to Izuku, and beating him up. They also used their quirks, which is illegal. Grown-ups, policemen, and even some pro-heroes were gonna intervene, but when they heard the 5 say something like, "Shut up you quirkless loser," they walked off. When the 5 were done, they walked off. In another world, "I'm sorry I can't be their son, but I will get you eventually." Izuku POV 10 years later. "Life sucks. For the past 10 years I have been neglected by my parents as they focus all of their attention on Izumi. It was slow at first, they wouldn't interact with me unless they had to, but by the time I turned 10, I was basically living on my own. They stopped cooking for me, and they always went places without me. My school life has been worse. My ex-friends and sister have made it their mission to make my life horrible. They beat me up with their quirks, verbally abuse me, and to make things worse, they act like angels in front of their parents. But I won't give up. I have trained since I was 10 in martial arts and now I could give Edgeshot a run for his money. I am in class right now when my teacher walks in. As 3rd years in middle school, it's time to figure out what you want to do when you grow up, but I know you want to be heroes," shouted the teacher. All the buffoons in my class then started using their quirks except me and my tormentors. 3, 2, 1. "Hey teach, don't dump me and my crew with these losers. We're the real deal and the rest of these extras will be lucky to be a sidekick to a busted D-lister," said Katsuki arrogantly. "Ah yes, the big 5, you are planning on going to UA, right?" said the teacher. The students then started murmuring with themselves. "Of course they're going, at least I won't see them at general studies. Don't get me wrong, I still want to be a hero, it's just that I won't be able to fight against robots. So I'm gonna try at the sports festival like Uncle Aizawa." "Oh, Izuku is going to UA too," said the teacher. Everybody then began to laugh at Izuku, saying things like, "You can't get in off of grades alone," or, "Can the quirkless even try out? I'm going for general studies." I told them. They all calmed down as they thought I gave up, except my tormentors who looked like they were told they couldn't go to UA, seething with anger. When school ended, I wanted to leave but was stopped by my tormentors. They began to tell me about how they didn't want me in UA period and said I'm just a weakling. I'm glad I didn't bring my notebook or they might have burned it. They began to leave when they said something I never thought they would. "If you want a quirk, just jump off the roof and pray you get a quirk in your next life," said Izumi of all people as the rest laughed and walked off. At that point any chance of us becoming a family was lost. I left school and walked off as I thought about taking the long way home, but I was attacked by a villain made of sludge. Before I could die though, My hero All Might came and smashed the villain. All Might POV. I was chasing this villain when he left the sewers. I jumped out and saw a boy was getting attacked by the villain. Upon closer inspection I saw that he looked familiar. I dealt with the villain, and gently slapped the boy to wake him up. When he got up he did what most fans would do and fanboyed. I asked for his name and he said it was Izuku Yagi, my son. I mentally cursed myself for not realizing it earlier. He then asked if he could be a hero even if he was quirkless. I wanted to say yes and give him one for all, but I couldn't let ties waver my judgment. I'm sorry, but no you can't. Become a police officer, I said, before jumping off. Izuku POV 1 hour later. All Might is like everybody is narrow-minded, and can't see the bigger picture. As I'm walking I hear All Might and my sister as I eavesdrop and see her and her friends with All Might. I am here young Azumi. Shouts All Might before a puff of smoke envelops him, and out comes Dad. Azumi and I were shocked but I kept myself hidden. He then went on to explain how he got an injury from a villain and he was going to pass his quirk onto her because she had the heart of a hero. I ran away as fast as I could and opened the door to the house. Of course Mono Inko didn't spare me a glance as I went upstairs and packed everything, which wasn't much as they didn't buy me anything but spoiled Azumi. I thought that it was because they didn't have enough money, but since Dad is All Might and I knew long ago that Weather Wizard is Mom, that's not an excuse. After writing a note I left. Meanwhile, Azumi and All Might came to the house happy as they were excited and Inko had a cake ready and they ate it without even thinking about Izuku. Next day, the teacher was taking a roll call when he shouted out Izuku's name. Azumi, where is your brother? Asked the teacher. I don't know, replied Azumi, while in her mind she was thinking about how she was going to beat the crap out of him for not being here. When she got home, she and her friends got there. They saw the Todoroki family, Good Endeavor, the Bakugo family, Gran Torino, Recovery Girl, Nezu, Sir Naiteye and Aizawa. They all started talking when Sir Naiteye asked where Izuku was. Who? Said Inko. Your son, said Naiteye. I'll check his room, said Aizawa. He started walking upstairs and when he got to the room and opened the door, he immediately smelled blood. He looked around and saw it was a room that looked like a jail cell as it was dirty and it had blood stains everywhere. Aizawa got mad, but when he saw a note he picked it up and read it. Dear whoever cares, if you're reading this then I ran away. I'm tired of living like I'm less than a human. My mom and dad who are both pro heroes don't even cook for me. I had to learn first aid and how to cook. I also got multiple jobs to get food. My ex-friends beat me and harass me on a daily basis because of something I can't control. So, I am leaving to pursue my goal of being a hero. I don't want your pity or All Might's quirk because I deserved it in the first place. Not somebody who told me to kill myself. I hate you Yagis and the Bakugo twins and Todoroki twins. I hope you fix yourself or the future's looking dim. From Izuku. Tears began to fall down Aizawa's face as he ran downstairs. When he saw Toshinori, he ran and punched him in the face. He was going to do more when Endeavor and Naiteye held him back. This is all your fault, you don't deserve your quirk or title. Yelled Aizawa. What is the meaning of this? Asked Naiteye. Aizawa handed him the letter and Endeavor looked over. When they finished reading, they let go of Aizawa. You kids have 5 seconds to explain yourselves right now. Yelled Endeavor. He was a quirkless weakling so we put him in his place, said Katsuki. Shut up, said Masaru, surprising everyone. None of you are deserving of anything, all you are just lucky. You will never be half as good as the heroes Izuku will be, said Masaru. Toshinori, Nana would be disappointed in you, said Gran Torino. I was just training Azumi to be the next symbol of peace, I didn't have time for Izuku, said All Might. You're a hypocrite All Might, you could have given your quirk to Izuku, but you gave it to a bully, said Naiteye. Nevertheless, you guys need punishment. You 5 should be thrown in jail for breaking the law and using your quirks, said Nezu. Said 5 immediately started getting worried and Inko pleaded for them to not put Azumi in jail. I won't put you in jail, but your recommendation forms are denied, you will all take therapy, and will be put on probation with quirk cancelling collars so you can't use your quirks, said Nezu. Meanwhile with Izuku, Izuku was trying to find a cheap place to stay when a bright light came from the sky. He shielded his eyes, and when the light faded, he saw a blue-skinned man with white hair. "Hello Izuku Midoriya, I am Whis, the attendant for your father," said Whis. "Toshinori never mentioned you," said Izuku. "Yes. That's because I am the attendant of your real father," said Whis. "Wait. What?" said Izuku. "Your father will explain everything if you come with me," said Whis. "What have I got to lose?" said Izuku, before grabbing onto Whis. With another blinding light, Izuku and Whis were off. Halfway there Izuku was marveling at the universe. "Hey Whis," said Izuku. "Yes my lord," said Whis. "What's your quirk? You have blue skin, but you can fly at beyond supersonic speeds, but you can make an oxygen bubble for me," said Izuku. "I don't have a quirk my lord. My powers come from my father, as I am the most powerful being in this universe," said Whis. The rest of the trip was silent as they arrived at Izuku's dad's world. When the pair arrived, they were met with a cat-human hybrid, a blonde male who looked to be Izuku's age, and a man with red hair and weird attire. "My lord, your son," said Whis. "Thank you Whis," said the red-haired man. "So that's the golden egg, he has a lot of god ki in him," said the cat. "He also has some muscle," said the blonde kid. "Hi son, I'm sorry I couldn't get you earlier as I had duties to attend to, but I'm here now," said the man. Izuku POV. "I couldn't believe it. My real father was standing right in front of me. I ran toward him and hugged him with tears in my eyes, which he happily gave back. It doesn't matter, you're here now," I told him. "Now, it's time I give you a proper greeting. I am Vegito, Universe 7 Destroyer, and Saiyan. The cat is Beerus, my predecessor, and the boy is Nito Monoma," said my father. "Now, go clean up and get your powers unlocked, we will start training tomorrow," said Dad, before flying off. I then went and got my powers unlocked as my muscle mass began to bulk up, and by the time he finished, I looked like a hybrid between myself and my father. Picture go-getter with green highlights in his hair. I then got to learn about why Monoma was there. Apparently he had a power that allowed him to copy other powers. He ended up copying Beerus's powers by accident when he came to Earth for food, and ever since he has been training to control his powers. No one's POV dinner. Izuku, Vegito, Beerus, Monoma and Whis were gathered around a dinner table eating. While Monoma was eating like a normal human, Izuku and Vegito were scarfing down food so fast it would put competitors to shame. Beerus and Whis were opening their mouths wider than Izuku's head to shove down their food. "So Izuku, there is another reason why I had you transported here," said Vegito, putting his food down. "What is it Dad?" asked Izuku, also putting his food down. "I want you to become the next destroyer for Universe 7, said Vegito. Izuku was shocked, while everybody else knew about Vegito's plan. "You see son, I'm getting old, and it's affecting my work. Because of your love to save everybody, you will be the perfect candidate," said Vegito. "I accept," said Izuku. "Good. Your training starts now," said Vegito. Part 1 ended. Thanks for watching.